Good afternoon, and a warm welcome to the 2020 graduation ceremony for South Washington Alternative High School. My name is Kate Jenkins, and I am the school counselor at the Alternative High School, and I couldn't be more proud than the 25 students graduating with us today. These students have worked extremely hard to reach this goal and have overcome more obstacles than some of us will ever see in a lifetime. And this has not been an easy end to their high school career, but these students persevered. It's a true testament to their determination and commitment that they're here today. To officially begin our celebration, we have a message from the Superintendent of South Washington County Schools. It is my honor to introduce Dr. Keith Jacobus.
Thank you. First, I want to congratulate all of you for reaching this wonderful milestone in your life. But I'm not congratulating you and saying that I'm proud of you as a superintendent. I want you to know that I was in your shoes in high school. I had a tough time getting through. I used to sit in class and wonder, how did my friends understand this so easily? And I just felt that there was something about me, that I wasn't very smart, that I had problems that I couldn't put my finger on. But I don't know how I made it through high school. We did not have an alternative high school when I was in high school, or I would have been fortunate to be able to go to that school and hopefully change the trajectory. I did end up in college, I'm not sure how. And later on, when my oldest son was diagnosed with dyslexia, the neurologist said, "This is hereditary, so one of you has it," to my wife and to me. And my wife looked at me and said, "That explains you." And I thought, oh, that makes some sense. But I say this because I am so proud of you. I know the challenges that you had, and I'm so excited to share in the celebration. For the parents, guardians, and loved ones out there that supported these fine graduates, thank you. You allowed us to do our job to get to this day, but I know that you were there for your loved ones and your graduates, and I'm sure there were many nights of emotions and some struggles getting through. I want you to know, as graduates, as I was able to spend some time with your teachers and the staff, that you were loved, you are loved. The discussions about how to help and make sure that everyone was moving forward this spring was really touching. And I love that aspect about alternative education. I think it's an odd word to call it alternative, because it really is the way we should be educating at the high school level. I also was fortunate in my time to be the principal of an alternative high school in Colorado. And it was some of the best years of my professional life, so I'm pleased to be here. I think the spring was a challenge, and I wish we were together so I could see your faces and see your parents and guardians and loved ones' faces, the pride that they have to see you receive your diploma. Certainly it wasn't the spring that you expected, it wasn't the spring that I expected. I was able to view it not only as an educator, but also as a parent, since I have a senior son as well. So I watched him lose that end of his school year. And we learned a number of things during this time. We learned how to be more flexible in education. We learned the importance of allowing people to work at home. And we learned that many students and many of you may have done much better in a more virtual environment. There's something about it that gives you that flexibility to complete things at your own pace. And a discussion virtually may be different in a way that's very positive than being face-to-face. So I hope that we will capitalize on what we learn next year and maintain that flexibility in our system. I also think we learned, and I hope I would leave you with a message as you leave us and go out into the world, that I think we learned this spring with the isolation and the loneliness and the sadness of the pandemic and death, that there's many more important things to life than material things. And the most important things are relationships, the loved ones, and the people that we know. And I think kindness and compassion for each other is what I hope we learned. And what I would ask you to do as you move out into the world and begin your role in leading us and changing the world, I hope you lead and live with love, kindness, and compassion. That simple idea of treating people the way you want to be treated. It's called the golden rule because it is golden. If we could imagine a world where we all actually did that all of the time, what a wonderful place it would be. And I'm depending on you as you go out into the world to lead with compassion, to lead with kindness, to treat others the way you want to be treated. So congratulations to the class of 2020. I'm proud to accept this class on behalf of the school board of the South Washington County School District. and I want to wish you well in all that you do in the future. And remember, you are always part of the South Washington County School District. If you need help in the future, please come back and see us. We will help you in any way we can from now and forever. Congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you out in the community.
Thank you, Kate, and thank you, Dr. Jacobus. As a proud principal of South Washington Alternative High School, I want to thank you for attending the 2020 South Washington Alternative High School graduation ceremony. At this time, I'd like to recognize our school board members. Ms. Tracy Brunette, Ms. Katie Schwartz, Ms. Sharon Van Leer, Ms. Patricia Driscoll, Ms. Louise Heinz, Ms. Melinda Doles, Ms. Simi Patnaik, and Dr. Keith Jacobus, the contingent of district leadership, Eastridge, Park, and Woodbury High School leadership, the South Washington Alternative High School staff, past and present, and most importantly, the families who have been such an integral part in their student success. Finally, I want to recognize our graduates. You put forth great effort to get to this point, overcoming tremendous obstacles and challenges, especially during the senior year. Yet you still showed a determination and resiliency needed to complete the task at hand. This won't be the only journey in your life that challenges you, but it will be the one that you always remember, and you'll remember the people who got you through it. And with that, it's with great honor that I get to stand before you today and introduce the class of 2020. By the power vested in me by the state of Minnesota and the South Washington County School Board, I hereby certify that these students seated before you have met all state and local requirements and are eligible for their high school diplomas. As is our tradition at South Washington Alternative High School, each graduate has chosen a staff member to speak on their behalf. Those speeches are coming up right now.
And here we have Anne, who is speaking for Leslie Arellano.
I am so pleased to be able to speak on behalf of Leslie Arnao today. I was lucky to have Leslie as a student in my classes, but also to have her as a member of my advisory. She is an advisor's dream. She's rarely absent, never more than a unit or two behind, can explain to you everything that she needs to do to get caught up, and reflect on what she's learning in her classes and relate them to the real world. Leslie does not get caught up in drama, is practical about life, and listens to people's point of views before making decisions. Leslie can advocate for herself effectively and is a reliable member of the class. I knew that when I had Leslie in class, I had a stable anchor that I could rely on. In addition, Leslie has two characteristics that I really admire in people: self-respect and confidence. She holds herself to a high standard of work completion and quality, and as a teacher, I appreciate how she has made education a priority and has taken ownership of her life. Leslie enjoys math and plans on eventually going to school to pursue a career in finance or accounting. Her self-reliance, ability to listen, and unshakable personality will suit her well for this career field. Leslie, your family should be proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself. Continue on the path that you are on. You have all the characteristics that will help you become a positive influence for other people. Congratulations on your success, and good luck in your future.
And here we have Anne, who is speaking for Susan Ayers.
I am honored to speak on behalf of Susan Ayers today. I've had Susan as a student in multiple classes, including Foods of the World and Early Childhood Education. When you first meet Susan, you are struck by her quiet nature. As Susan opens up, you quickly learn that not only is she intelligent with a broad base of knowledge, but she has a wicked sense of humor. She would routinely be sitting in class, taking in whatever was happening, and then, with perfect timing, add a wisecrack that would leave me both amazed and laughing. Additionally, Susan has a quality that is missing in many people today. She has the ability to listen. She uses her reflective nature to understand someone's point of view. This quality allows Susan to be empathetic, caring, and make someone feel valued. We live in a world where not enough people have these skills. Susan gives me hope that there are young people who can see past themselves and work towards a goal of common understanding. While she is quiet, Susan does not speak to fill air. She speaks to make her words count. Susan is a great artist whose creativity never ceases to amaze me, and we have been fortunate to have her artwork grace the hallways for the past few years. She has a natural knack for teaching, which I got to witness while she was a student in my early childhood education class, where she got to be the high school helper in one of the ECFE preschool classes. She was a role model for those students and a great representative for our school. I'm excited to see where all of these skills lead Susan in the future. I have no doubt that she will be an excellent student, employee, and member of society.
And here we have John, who is speaking for Vanna Bender.
Vanna, I've known that I was going to give this speech for years, as per your declaration long ago. And I have pictured you standing by my side right now, but I will do my best alone. I have thought about at different times throughout those years what I would say, and basically I've had a really long time to write this speech, and I hope that I can do your high school years justice. I have had Vanna as a student since my first year at the alternative high school in 2016. This in and of itself has been a privilege because I have had a front row seat to watch her grow into the amazing young woman that she has become. When she came to me as a disgruntled freshman, she let me know that she thought my jokes were stupid and that my hair just looked strange. I'll never forget that first class I had, where she basically made fun of me while I was trying to stumble through my geography lesson. And I couldn't help but think, man, what is up with this kid? To tell you the truth, I was a little annoyed by this newbie in my class disrupting everything. This went on for a while until eventually Vanna started after class. She'd stay after and make fun of me as a sort of extracurricular activity. Over time, I like to think that I won her over and the comments subsided until after class and during she became a model student. Throughout the years, Vanna became a staple in my classes. And even when she didn't have class, she found herself in my room as a sort of distinguished alumni to classes that I had already taught her. Vanna had a knack for getting out of class and moving about the school, and I would often wonder, does anyone know where she is supposed to be? Vanna was able to do this without being disruptive, because she has an amazing ability to read people and would quickly exit once it was time to move on with the lesson. Vanna has a self-awareness that I have never seen in a young person. She is analytical of her thoughts and feelings and legitimately cares about others and is willing to stand up for them with nothing short of tenacity. In light of this, here is my advice to you, Vanna, because I never promised that I wouldn't get preachy. Don't let the world dictate who you become. You possess a self-awareness that will do you justice in whatever you pursue in life. So just listen to it. Life doesn't get easier, you just get better at it. Continue to wear your heart on your sleeve and do what makes you happy. In the end, that's all that anyone ever really wants anyway, is to be happy. So make your art, do your yoga, and spray your patchouli oil around, and whatever hippie things make you feel whole, you deserve it. You have brought me full circle. I was once an ALC kid like you who just needed someone to show that they cared, and I hope that I provided for you a glimmer of what was graciously provided for me by my teacher, Ms. Kelly. It's rare in life to know when you're on track, but with you it was always obvious. You are a great person, and you better believe that I expect updates about the amazing things that you are going to do out in the world. Now enough with the mushy stuff. Go get 'em, nerd.
And here we have Katie, who is speaking for Maddie Cook.
Maddie Cook transferred to the alternative high school during her junior year. The first things I noticed about Maddie were her hair, her makeup, and her eyelashes. She was always very coordinated, put together, and even brought some pretty dramatic looks to school. I also noticed right away that she was usually laughing and giggling with her friends. Maddie has a fun, bubbly personality that is contagious to those around her. As a part of her fun personality, Maddie likes things to be colorful. She has a packet of gel pens that she uses on her work in class. She color codes, alternates colors for notes, and turns in the brightest work I have ever received. When we switched to distance learning, Maddie adjusted and chose bright alternating font colors for all of her assignments. She seems to find joy in the small things and helps to spread that joy wherever she goes. For her birthday this year, she took her friends to a petting zoo. When we held a drive-by and say hi event at school, Maddie asked if we would be handing out candy. That innocent, contagious joy will definitely be missed in the building next year. Maddie has been a cosmetology student at 916 for the past 2 years, and she hopes to continue that education in the fall. She is planning to attend Salon Professional Academy in Maplewood and train to be a licensed cosmetologist. Maddie, keep finding joy every day. Share that joy with those around you, but don't leave your eyelashes on people's desks. Nicole told me that people don't really find joy when you do that. Continue to be focused on your goals and you will go far in life. Congratulations.
And here we have Katie, who is speaking for James Diedrich.
James Dietrich has been with us since his sophomore year. Most staff members got to know him pretty quickly because his cousin was a longtime student with us. Everyone knew Josh, and so everyone very quickly got to know James. We mostly saw them walking laps around the school in between classes and listened to them talk about their band. During his time here, James has been an exceptional student. He has spent the last 2 years enrolled in 916 at their diesel tech maintenance program. He has been a fixture on our outstanding student achiever list, and he has received our Student of the Trimester award at least twice. I'm sure I'm missing some of his accomplishments and accolades, but you get the idea. What says more about the type of person that James is are the challenges that he's overcome and the things that are most important to him. James went through a lot before he enrolled as a student with us, and he takes those lessons with him into every situation. Most conversations with James include talking about the people most important to him. He is always talking about his mom, Toot, and his grandma, going to concerts with his dad, and time spent with his longtime girlfriend, Evelyn. We also heard a lot about trucks and engines, and I learned more than I ever thought that I would about the benefits of a diesel engine over a gas one. He is pretty strong in his opinions and convictions, but he is always willing to listen to opposing viewpoints. We spent many prep periods talking about world events, politics, and of course trucks. Which brings us to what James plans to do after graduation. He's been accepted to the diesel maintenance program at Dakota County Technical College, and he plans to begin with them in the fall. When asked about his longer-term plans, James hopes to work as a diesel mechanic, start a family, and move someplace without the bitterly cold Minnesota winters. Stay focused, James. You are so capable and have such great goals. Use your perseverance, openness, and work ethic to create the life you dream of. You will be greatly missed. Congratulations.
And here we have John, who is speaking for Logan Dubry.
You made it, Logan. I always knew that you would, although the typical onlooker probably wouldn't have been so sure. If you met Logan on an average day, you would have noticed that he probably didn't seem to be taking class very seriously. He found a way to make my classroom chairs look incredibly comfortable, just by how sprawled out he could get. He always found a place in the back away from anyone else, where he could turn a couple chairs into some sort of makeshift lazy boy. Getting Logan to lean forward enough to take notes was usually met with a groan of compliance. But I will say, even when he wasn't taking notes, he did listen. Maybe he was just conserving energy for his tests, of which he always did very well. This is something that I've noticed about Logan's personality. He believes in himself and his abilities. He isn't overconfident. He simply knows himself well enough to know when the time is right. Logan decided to give his family and I a scare and run his senior coursework down to the wire, but I always believed that he would make it. This is because he has a knack for hard work, when it is something that he's passionate about or when the time is right. My advice for you, Logan, is to continue to be confident in yourself. You have shown me that you have every reason to be. You are intelligent, kind, and you have a great work ethic. Something that is important to you both in your job and your academic pursuit of becoming a diesel repair technician. Logan is blessed with many people around him who care. I know this because of all the people who were there to encourage him along the way. Don't forget, Logan. Those who give you the hardest time are those who usually care the most. You're a lucky guy. Don't forget it. I know that Logan will meet whatever challenges his future has in store, and I look forward to hearing about all that he accomplishes in his future. Congratulations, Logan.
And here we have Katie, who is speaking for Emma Ferguson.
Emma Ferguson transferred to us at the beginning of her junior year. She wasn't in any of my classes until this year, so at first I just noticed that she was always on the student achievers list. She got along super well and joked around with her advisor Charlie, and I also noticed that she always looked like she was judging me. Whenever we would combine advisories, and since Charlie and I are neighbors, we were together often, she would look at me, and I would always wonder what she was thinking when she made those stank faces. Then this fall, Emma was a student in my English and AVID classes, and I learned so much more about her. She continued to be on the Outstanding Student Achievers list, and she continues to joke around with Charlie all the time, but I also learned that she is funny. She isn't afraid to speak her mind. Her family is incredibly important to her. Underneath what we call that stank face, she has a really big heart. She loves dogs, and I think her family just got their 6th dog, and I wish we were in school so I could get daily pictures and updates of the puppy. She even shows dogs at competitions and has worked at a doggy daycare. Emma is not entirely sure of what she wants to do after graduation. She hasn't really enjoyed distance learning, neither have I, so she would like to wait until classes can meet in person to attend college. Her parents, Heidi and Corey, are incredibly supportive, and they have been involved in Emma's education here, and I know they will continue to support her when she decides what she would like to do. Ems, let the world know what is behind the stank face. Your humor and kindness should be shared with everyone. I will miss you shouting "ew" at me every day, and I know you will do greatly. Congratulations.
Here we have Mike, who is speaking for Sydney Fielden.
A definition of the word perseverance is a continued effort in doing something in spite of obstacles or difficulties. I think if they used an image to illustrate this word, the dictionary should include a picture of Sydney Fielden. It would have been the easy route to give up for Sid, and she had many chances to do so. Instead, Sid dealt with the obstacles and then resumed her educational journey. Taking care of her emotional and physical well-being took priority for a time. Sid managed challenging family and interpersonal relationships, which again caused her to pause her academic journey. And if she could not overcome that obstacle, Sid just cut her own path. I can vividly remember a conversation we had about her peers that were giving her a hard time for not dropping out. I told her I was sorry she was dealing with these comments. Her response was to brush it off and announce that she was just going to find new friends that would support her decision to stay in school. I was stunned with this matter-of-fact response, and now view it as another example of Sid's perseverance when others might have taken the easier path. Unfortunately, due to distance learning as a result of the quarantine, I did not get a chance to personally interact with Sid after her most recent re-enrollment. I do know from our past interactions, Sid always has a plan. I just don't know what that is. I do feel, and I truly mean this, that this commencement is the start of something instead of the end of something. What direction she takes is not known to me, but if I've learned anything, it's to not bet against Sid. Good luck in the future, Sydney, and I know you will overcome whatever roadblocks are in your path.
We have Kelly, who is speaking for Zach Garcia.
I'm incredibly excited and honored to stand before you to speak for Zach Garcia. Zach became my advisor student 3 years ago, and it has been an incredible journey to watch him grow and change into the young man who stands today. When I first met Zach, he was one of my naughty underclassmen who I had to chase around the building and make sure he would stay on top of his work. Schoolwork was not a high priority, and like several of his peers, what was going on in the digital world of his cell phone was the preferred choice to spend his time in school. However, where he differed from his peers is that he would be upset if he did not save a class. This showed me that education was valuable to him, and we would see the spark of determination to be successful in these moments. Throughout the year, there were several challenging moments when we would try and help him connect choices to consequences, and that blaming everyone around him was not constructive. On the last day of school, his first year at SWAHS, he was unable to save his U.S. history credit, and I was worried how he would take it. He was understandably disappointed, but Zach did something different that changed the course of who he become. He took a deep breath and said, "This is on me. I should have done better. I will do better." The spark of determination was shining. The adult that Zach would become started to emerge on that day. The following year, we continued to witness his growth. There were times in the year he was successful, there were the times in the year he struggled, but the spark was always present. We had another end of the school year chat, and he talked about how he saw those around him moving on past high school and with their lives, and he wanted that too. And not just move on, but with the diploma in hand. That was something, no matter how bad the day was, that never wavered. Zach was determined that he would graduate from high school with his diploma. When Zach walked through the doors this year, I knew something was different, and I could see the determination shining brightly, that I started writing this grad speech back in October. Zach knew he had an uphill battle with well over 20 credits to complete, but that did not deter him. He worked so hard that he was able to complete 10 credits in the first trimester, usually about 6.5 and a half are earned at most. I was so impressed that he was the first student I ever nominated for Student of the Trimester and remains to be the only student that impressed me enough to be nominated. Zach never at any point wavered from his desire to graduate. Even when distance learning began, he continued to strive forward while many of his classmates gave up. Words cannot begin to describe how happy and proud we are at SWAHS and his family are that he achieved his hard-earned goal of receiving his diploma. Zach, as someone who has watched you grow these last 3 years, I want you to always remember that you're in charge of your own destiny, and nothing anybody says or does can prevent you from achieving what you set your heart on, not even a pandemic. Congratulations, you earned this moment, and I wish you the best as you go forward and conquer your next goal.
Here we have Brad, who is speaking for Cameron Gray.
I have the pleasure of speaking for Cameron Gray today. Cameron came to us last year from Woodbury. As one of my advisees, I got to know Cameron quite well. Throughout his time here, he has had his ups and downs, but he always seemed to pull through. Initially, there were some troubles getting to school, but after about a month of brainwashing, I was able to convince him that our school is a great place for him. Since then, I can't tell you how many times that he has told me that he loves it here. It must be the great snacks that we hand out from time to time, or the awesome bionic arms and domes that we build. Cameron is an extremely thoughtful and caring person. A case in point, during his junior year, he was in my 10th grade biology class. While he was in this class, he would always take the time to help another student. She was struggling with some personal issues of her own. Now, I'm not the most sentimental person in the world, although my literary choices might suggest otherwise. Just ask Katie, our English teacher. It was so nice to see him recognize her and make sure that she didn't get left behind. That was really nice what you did for her, Cameron. Thank you. In Cameron's spare time, he likes to annoy his sister, play video games, and enjoy culinary delicacies. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think of something delicious, I tend to think of, walleye and morel mushrooms. But for Cameron, he insists that cheese balls are perhaps the world's greatest food. If you doubt it, just take a look at his shirt. Half the time, there is at least some leftover cheese residue on it. After today, Cameron plans to take a year off, save up some money, get his driver's license, and resurrect his uncle's van. After enjoying some time off from school, he would like to pursue some type of career in video gaming. Cameron, it has truly been a pleasure. You are a unique and caring person that has left an impact on me. Thank you, Cameron.
Here we have Brad, who is speaking for Alonze Grayson.
I have the pleasure of speaking for Alonze Grayson. Alonze came to us this year from Park. Zay is another one of my advisees. Right away, I could tell that Zay was someone special. He has natural charisma that other students tend to gravitate toward. I can't think of another student who doesn't have something nice to say about Zay. Zay immediately figured out how to be successful here. This is not some great mystery here, folks. You show up every day and you do your work. That really took a hit once we went to distance learning. He was drifting around for the first couple of weeks until I reached out to him and suggested we start a study group. This seemed to be the spark that got him motivated again. Over the past 2 months, we've learned about the gas laws, the Holocaust, and the importance of making one's bed every morning. He really used this time wisely, and it was enough to warrant a Student of the Trimester award. I'd like to say that I also learned a little bit along the way. In Zay's spare time, he likes to play basketball, cook, and make music. We've had several conversations about some of his dishes that he makes. Maybe someday we will see you on the Great British Baking Show. Along with his passion for cooking, Zay is an accomplished hip-hop musician. I've listened to a couple of his songs, and I can honestly say they are pretty good. This is coming from someone whose musical collection consists of Waylon, Willie, and more Waylon. Zay, or Mr. Two Times, it has truly been a pleasure. You are an interesting person that has a lot of great things to offer to the world. Good luck with the music and with life. Thank you, Zay.
Here we have Katie, who is speaking for Sierra Green.
Sierra Green, or Sierra Mary, as I often call her, transferred to the alternative high school during her junior year. She transferred at the same time as one of her best friends, Julia, and for a while I wasn't sure who was Sierra and who was Julia. I didn't have either of them in class, and they always seemed to be together. When we had community game days and advisory, we would play cards in Nicole's room, and I still wasn't entirely sure who was who, but I knew they were fun and up for positive interactions. This fall, I finally had the pleasure of having Sierra and Julia in class. Sierra was enrolled in both English and Avid with me, and we bonded over a love of animals, often sharing pictures of our pets and foster animals with each other. She was even enrolled in the Animal Science program at 916. One of the most distinctive characteristics of Sierra, though, is her strong sense of right and wrong. She has strong opinions and isn't afraid to advocate for herself or anyone else if she sees something wrong going on. Sierra is very independent, and while she sometimes tries to get a little leeway when she gets herself into tough spots, in the end she always faces things and takes responsibility for her choices. She works hard and she stays focused. She also has an amazing shoe collection and can coordinate her shoes with almost any outfit. When I asked Sierra what her post-graduation plans are, she simply told me that if she knew, she would tell me. In typical Sierra fashion, she will figure it out as she goes. And I do trust that she will figure it out. She did say that in a few years she would like to be in her own house with a well-paying job, possibly attending school and owning several animals. 103 was the exact number that she gave me. Sierra, always advocate for yourself, but also make sure to listen. Really listen during those important conversations. Work hard and stay focused on what is most important. I will miss your morning glares and you keeping me on my toes every day. Congratulations.
Here we have Katie, who is speaking for Savannah Hansen.
Savannah Hansen has only been a student in our building for a short period of time, as she transferred to the alternative high school during the second trimester of her senior year. However, she already had a few good friends enrolled here, and when she arrived, she quickly got comfortable. In fact, those friends are such good friends to her that I often had to chase her out of my classroom when they were in class and she wasn't. That usually happened about once a day. Savannah tries to find joy in small things and could often be found laughing with her classmates. Her comments in class kept us laughing alongside her. That's not to say that she doesn't have bad days or bad moments, but she does work to try to find joys in those moments and not dwell on the negative. Savannah does great work at school, but she is a procrastinator. She actually gave me the best procrastination excuse that I heard during distance learning. When I checked in after not hearing from her for a few days, she told me that she was totally distracted because she had just gotten into candle making. She said she'd spent a bunch of money on candle making supplies and wasn't working because she was making candles. In the end, she got back on track and submitted all her work for me. When I asked Savannah what her plans are after graduation, she told me she didn't know, that she's just trying to make it through 2020. I can't say that I blame her. Savannah, I know with how you hunker down and hold yourself accountable, along with how you try to see the good in all situations and not get drawn into negativity, that you have the ability to accomplish whatever you desire once you survive this year. Perhaps a candle company is in your future. Congratulations.
And I am Kate, who is speaking for Lauren King. Lauren joined the Achievement Lab program at the Alternative High School in December of this year. Lauren was coming to us from Woodbury High School, where she had many strong ties from both staff that truly loved working with her and friends that she had many memories and time with. But things just weren't quite right. She knew she needed a fresh start and a big change to finish up her senior year and complete her schooling on her own terms. It was with that desire she found the Achievement Lab, which is a new program in the Alternative High School that allows students to complete classes via an online platform. At the same time, she could set her own schedule and be the driving force in her education. Like many students that transferred to the Alternative High School, Lauren had some credits to make up in a relatively short amount of time, but her goal and her mission were very clear. She was going to graduate with the class of 2020, and I'm excited that I'm here to say that she did it. Not once did Lauren ever waver in her intent to finish her requirements. She was determined, committed, and focused. She set a schedule, stuck by it, and endured the bumps along the way with grace. The ability to set her mind to a goal, develop a plan, and ultimately carry it out to the end is something that I hope she carries with her on her next journey. These are qualities that many adults are still trying to master, so the fact that Lauren confidently executed her plan is nothing short of awesome. I'm so very proud of what she did at the Alternative High School. I also have no doubt that these very same qualities will bring Lauren success in her next chapter. She's a bright young lady with a quiet yet confident nature. I love that she's willing to take challenges head on and commit to taking the necessary steps to meet that challenge. Lauren, I truly wish you the best, and I'm glad you chose the Alternative High School to finish out your high school career. You should be so proud of what you accomplished. Congratulations. And I am Kate, who is speaking for Anya Lynn. Anya has been attending the Alternative High School since January of this year. She came to us from Woodbury High School, where she excelled in her academics, but needed a fresh start to really focus on her goal of graduating in June. She was looking for a place where she could be herself and pave the way to the next chapter. While the Alternative High School may not have been her first choice, she persevered and made the decision to reach her goal of graduation. When I first met Anya, it didn't take long to recognize her very fiery spirit. I sat with her dad and her counselor from Woodbury High School as they reviewed academics, discussed the ups and downs of the last year or so, but at the same time, I saw a light in her. She had a fire in her to do well. She felt misunderstood, but I could see the determination and the will to graduate and take that next step. Anya is a bright, caring, and strong-willed young lady. She takes care of her loved ones and has a loving nature to those who are in need. She's not afraid to speak her mind, to stand up for others, or even to stand alone in her own belief. These are qualities that I truly hope that she holds on to. Anya is well aware that life isn't easy, and there will be plenty more lumps and bumps along the way, but she's not afraid to face them head on. Anya plans to attend the Inver Hills Community College or Century College in the fall, and then she wants to finish up her schooling in a four-year degree in the area, or four-year school in the area. Regardless of where she goes, I have no doubt that she'll make her mark. Anya might be small in stature, but she can command a room with her determination and just her overall presence. She has worked extremely hard both in school and on herself to take this next step, and I'm very proud of her, and I will truly miss our chats. Congratulations to you, Anya. I wish you nothing but the best in whatever path you choose, but most importantly, hold on to that fiery spirit. And here we have Anne, who is speaking for Taylor Meyer.
I'm so excited to be speaking for Taylor Meyer today. I got to know Taylor when she was in my Living on Your Own class. Even though that class was first hour, she was always there, on time, mostly awake, and not afraid to share her opinions. She definitely made teaching a class that is rooted in discussion much easier. Taylor has many qualities that will make her an asset at Minnesota State Mankato, where she will be attending next fall. Her personal nature and sense of humor make her an asset to the classroom. During class, Taylor would add thoughtful insight and personal experience that would help deepen other students' understanding of the content. She would share what was happening in her outside of school life and add her mature point of view when she made decisions. Additionally, Taylor has a way of disagreeing with somebody's behavior or opinions in a tactful manner. Once Taylor enters the world of adulting, these skills will help her navigate that world it will navigate a world that can sometimes be unsettling, sometimes be full of anxiety, but hopefully mostly be filled with friendship and happiness. I often tell students that no one has all the answers and that there will be times in life where you don't know what to do next. However, the most successful students have the confidence to know that they are going to be okay and that they have the ability to dig deep and problem solve. Taylor is one of these students. I am excited for the adventure that she is about to embark on and look forward to see where life takes her.
We have Nicole, who is speaking for Eugene Park.
Today I will be speaking on behalf of Eugene Park. Eugene is a student that has been quietly working his way through our program. He only spent the last year with us, but in that last year we have seen him grow from a student who never wanted to do work because it was always too hard, into someone who completes work ahead of time. There were many times we had to have discussions about his motivation and how he could continue to do work and complete his work if he really wanted to. He showed us he could with this. Distance learning has been a struggle for most, including myself. But Eugene is someone who took this difficult time and turned it into something that worked for him. He has continued to push himself to complete his work to make sure he graduated on time. I am proud of what he has done, and I know that if he continued to push himself as hard as he did in these last 3 months, he will be able to do anything he puts his mind to. His plans for after graduating including attending Century College and then moving on to a 4-year college. He shared that his dream job would be with a company called Universal Creative. Eugene, I hope you land that dream job and that any dream that you have for yourself is achieved.
And I am Kate, who is speaking for JC Paul. JC transferred to the alternative high school in January of her junior year. She came to us from Park High School, where overall she was doing really well academically, but there were a few pockets of concerns that drew her to look for another option to finish out her high school career. I can still remember the enrollment meeting. Sitting across the table, she was skeptical. JC had some recent ups and downs, but it was clear that she had the support of the Park High School staff. Her grandma was right by her side and made it abundantly clear JC needed to focus on her goals and graduate. And I'm so happy to be here to say that she did it. Throughout JC's time at the alternative high school, she was a quiet yet impressive force. She is intelligent, vibrant, and talented. Her artistic ability is something that is a true gift. She's funny, genuine, and caring. She is charismatic. I always loved when she would stop by my office because our conversations were real. She wasn't afraid to speak up and let her voice be heard, and I truly valued her thoughts and perspective. Oftentimes, our conversations revolved around taking care of others. JC is someone that wants the best for others. She looks out for her friends helping them work through difficult situations, and sometimes even putting their needs before hers. She's a great listener and lended a shoulder to many other alternative high school students on more than one occasion. JC I have no doubt that she's on her way to big things in her next chapter. JC, it was such a pleasure to watch you grow into a strong, independent, and thoughtful student in your time at the alternative high school. I truly hope that you hold on to that willingness to speak your truth and to always find the best in others. I will miss you popping by the office and having you work in my front room. You kept me on my toes, and you brought a bright light to that room. You can do anything you put your mind to. Congratulations on your remarkable achievement. I'm very proud of you. And we have Jill, who is speaking for Giselle Segura.
Hi, I'm honored to stand up for Giselle Segura today. She came to us from Park High School and quickly adapted to being part of our school. She is quick to make friends and could often be seen smiling and laughing down the hallway. Giselle is a very social person. She always had a lot going on outside of school. Sometimes it would distract her, but when she came down to the end, she always got things finished. Even though procrastination became a habit, she seemed to have a system. She was always famous for making lists. It really was a good organizational tool for her, and it actually worked. Her mom and some other teachers would always worry, but Giselle would have a plan. Usually this plan was to stay up all night, but in the end, she always came through. We all enjoyed having Giselle in our advisory. She always had stories, mostly about boys, and taught Nicole, our math teacher, some interesting card games. But she also helped others work through their problems and was really a fierce friend. We are so proud of her when she went off to 916 to take the college level classes. Giselle really excelled in cosmetology and also seemed to really enjoy this new experience. She has a wonderful family and is extremely dedicated to them. In fact, her brother was here for us for a while and could be found laughing and texting in the lunchroom and hallways together. Her mom came to every single conference, and I really appreciate the support from home. Giselle, I will truly miss your friendly and outgoing presence in our school. I enjoyed having you in art class and watching you come up with painting ideas. You are hardworking, sympathetic, and all these traits will help you become successful in whatever path you choose. Congratulations, we are very proud of you.
And we have Courtney, who is speaking for Diamond Williams.
Diamond Williams. When I think of Diamond as a student, I picture the ideal student that every teacher hopes to have in their class. In the classroom, she is present, engaged, motivated to succeed, and does what is asked of her. In the classroom, she is respectful and responsive when teachers call upon her. She is at school every day, and her effort is consistent throughout each week. When in the hallways, she is always surrounded by her peers, smiling and laughing. Diamond is loved and appreciated by her peers, as well as the teachers and staff at South Washington Alternative High School. When I think of Diamond as a person, I see and think of so much more. Diamond is a compassionate, emotional, caring, kind-hearted person. This is my first year working at South Washington Alternative High School, and I remember meeting Diamond for the first time. I think she was unsure of me at first, which most students are when meeting new teachers at the beginning of the school year. It took some time to get her to drop her guard, but once she did, I was really able to see who she truly was and what she was capable of. Over the course of the year, Diamond and I have spent a lot of time together and have built a strong relationship. Every morning, she would come into my room and drop off her jacket and say good morning to me. In the hallway, she would always smile and say hi as she passed by. When I was sick and gone for over a week, she expressed genuine concern when I returned. Through these experiences, I've learned just how wonderful of a person Diamond is. The one memory that stands out the most to me over the course of the school year was when Diamond asked me to help her with an English assignment. She was asked to write a paper about heroes. She was asked to express what she thought a hero looked like and pick someone who she considered a hero. Diamond wrote this paper on her dad. I could see it in her eyes how much this paper meant to her. She was full of passion and emotion as she wrote it. She was proud of her dad, and she was proud to be able to write about him. She was eager to share her paper with other staff and asked me to print off a copy so she could give it to her mom. When COVID-19 hit and we were forced to go to distance learning, Diamond took the challenge head on and has been nothing but successful over the course of the last 10 weeks. She had a goal to graduate this spring and was determined to do so. She advocated for herself when she needed help and put in the time and energy needed to get to this point today. Diamond had faced tribulations in life, but she's always come out on top. She is a strong, fierce, compassionate woman with a bright future ahead of her. She has made a lasting impression on me, not only as a teacher, but as a person. I want to encourage you, Diamond, to place no barriers for what the future can hold. Be proud of what you have accomplished and know that no dream is too big. I am proud of you. Congratulations, and I wish you the best.
Here we have Mike, who is speaking for Taylor Yaswa Lee.
The world is round. The human species evolved from apes. We can get people to the moon. These were all ideas that most people thought were not possible. We can now add another one. Taylor asking me to speak at her graduation. Now, I want to quickly point out, I do not mean to imply that there was ever any doubt that Taylor would graduate. Instead, I mean me being selected by her to speak at her graduation is the idea that nobody thought possible. And that's because I nagged her almost constantly. I nagged her about putting her phone away during class. I nagged her about participating in class. I nagged her about getting her makeup work done for class. Nag, nag, nag. And each time I was met with the teenaged eye roll. Everyone knows what that is and what that means. But it never deterred me from nagging because I saw something in Taylor. Honestly, for some students, high school graduation is the end of their academic journey. It is a celebration after overcoming any number of obstacles. But for Taylor, to me, the high school graduation is the beginning and not the end of her journey, because Taylor has ability and talent hidden in all of that teenage angst she projects. I see it there, Taylor. For example, right now, Taylor is in the process of looking for her own place to stay and begin her adult life. She is working to pay for a car, insurance, and her own cell phone. She has asked for and been given extra hours because Taylor is smart enough to understand that savings at this point matter. She is also weighing options in her academic choices to become a parole officer. I am so proud of all that Taylor has accomplished, all while managing her schoolwork. It hasn't been easy, but she eventually got it done. But I couldn't end my speech with at least one more nag. Taylor, did you reach out to the sheriff's department yet? Good luck in your future plans, Taylor, and stop rolling your eyes.
At this time, I would ask the graduates to please rise. Please move your tassel from right to left, signifying the completion of this step in your educational journey and the new beginnings that lie ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the South Washington Alternative High School Class of 2020.